Hi, you're in the studio once again with Luke from GuitarIQ.com. In this video, I just wanted to look at a few different tips on using EQ on your guitars in the mix. Hopefully there's a few different ideas here that might help you out or get you thinking about your approach to using EQ. So let's jump in and check it out. So I've been working on a new project called 5 Minute Jams. This is a collection of jam tracks for guitar players. I've just grabbed a section of the track here to take a listen to, and then I'll walk you through how I approached using EQ on these guitar tracks. As you can see, I haven't gone crazy with the amount of plugins that I'm using on this mix, but there are a few different layers of processing that my guitar tracks are running through. There's some additional compression and saturation happening on the submix and on the master fader. I'm actually using Slate VCC and VTM, which are two plugins that I've looked at in a previous video. But for these examples, I'm just gonna leave things how they are, and I'm going to focus solely on the EQ adjustments that I've made on the individual tracks. I've soloed the electric guitar and I've bypassed the EQ, so let's now take a listen to what this guitar track sounds like without any EQ. So at this point, what I'm not going to do is just get in there and start boosting a whole bunch of frequencies without really thinking about what I'm doing. I want to start with two really simple questions. What do I like about what I'm hearing? And what don't I like about what I'm hearing? So firstly, I do like the general tone and feel of this track. I think the overall sound's going to work in the mix. But there are some problems here. There's a lot of low-end build-up, which sounds okay when the track's soloed, but in the context of the whole mix, it's really going to detract from the bass guitar, and it's just going to make things muddier than they need to be. There's also a couple of really harsh frequencies poking through in that 2 to 3K range that really need to be tamed. So the first thing I want to do before boosting anything is to get rid of the things that I'm not liking. You can see here on the left that I've just brought up a standard EQ that comes with Logic. I found those annoying frequencies and I've just made a couple of surgical type adjustments. Admittedly, most of your EQ moves probably won't look like this. This is a technique for notching out very specific frequencies. And because I'm using extremely narrow cuts, it actually doesn't sound as aggressive as it looks, and it's certainly a better option than killing a whole bunch of frequencies that you do want in order to tame those that you don't need. So having dealt with those harsh upper mids, I've then used a plugin that I was really excited to try out on this mix. It's called the Virtual Mix Rack. Again, it's from Slate Digital. This is basically a collection of a number of different modules, including some really nice options for EQ and compression. Here I'm using one of their custom series modules, which is a relatively new addition to the lineup. I'm really liking this particular EQ. It's very transparent and natural sounding. Because of that, I've been able to set the high pass filter much higher than I normally would have without impacting the tone negatively. Additionally, you can see that I've added a touch of thickness in those low mids, and I've just pushed that 2K range a little bit to compensate for those other frequencies that I've notched out. I also want to make sure overall that the guitar track is really cutting through the mix, but I don't want to be boosting the overall volume. So now let's take a listen to the difference. I'll switch the EQs on and off so you can compare. And now for the real test, let's see if we can hear a difference in the mix. So hopefully you can hear there how a few EQ tweaks, even on just one track, can make quite a noticeable difference to the mix as a whole. To finish up, there's just a couple more points I wanted to bring up. Firstly, even though I made a number of adjustments there, I didn't actually do a whole lot. When we're using EQ on our guitars, we want to shape the tone. We're not trying to replace it. And what I mean by that is no amount of EQ is going to make a Strat sound like a Les Paul or a Vox sound like a Marshall. EQ is just a tool to emphasize the things that we like about a tone, to help get rid of the things that aren't working, and to make sure that things are sounding balanced overall. Ideally, the crucial decisions about tone should be made well before the mixing stage, in terms of the way something is played or the gear that we're using in the first place. And getting all of that right at the start is going to make our job significantly easier when it comes time to mix. And lastly, you'll notice in those examples that I left all of the additional processing on: compression, reverb, delay, tape saturation. We love to use these types of things as colors and flavors to enhance our tone. But despite all of that, if our fundamental tone isn't sounding right from the start, if things aren't sounding balanced, then all of that additional processing isn't going to be anywhere near as effective as it could be. Well, that's it for this video. Hopefully there are a few ideas there that you found helpful. If so, let me know about it by clicking on the like button. As always, I'm keen to hear from you in the comments section below, and if you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to the channel for more videos like this one. And lastly, be sure to head over to the website guitariq.com. There's a bunch of free videos, books, and articles over there, so take a minute to check it out. And apart from that, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.